and welcome to my channel. My name is Eve Hemingway and I currently live in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So in this video I want to talk about how Vietnam is now. I'm going to show you some clips around the city and yeah, well, I mean, you read the title, it's about the lockdown being lifted. We're going to talk about how people are reacting to it, what are the restrictions. Yeah, is the city still busy? Are people having parties? But yeah, as I say, I am living in Ho Chi Minh, so anyone else that lives in a different part of the country, I'll be really interested to see what you guys have to say about, yeah, elsewhere in Vietnam. I have gone down over more details of the lockdown and how Vietnam has handled it from the start of this pandemic and even back when China first announced their first case. But yeah, I did go into more details in another video. I'll link that down below and up here, so yeah, you can go watch that after this one. So right now it is Saturday the 25th of April. The lockdown was officially lifted on, I think it was midnight on Wednesday the 22nd of April, but when businesses started to go back to normal, that was on the 23rd, which was on the Thursday. And the video clips that I'm about to show you are from Friday afternoon and Friday evening. So as you can see, the streets actually look really quiet, and I personally thought this was really strange because just 2 days before, on the Wednesday during the daytime, it was really busy. Everyone was going out because everyone was excited that, well, this is the last day of lockdown, let's all just go out anyway because it's going to be lifted tomorrow. There's even signs saying about the app where you go and declare your health status on. I will get into the app a little bit later on in this video. So when the lockdown was lifted, one of the things that they said was the city is allowed to open shops, street businesses and non-essential services. But as you can see, there's just so many shops that have shut down. And obviously that is a result of the economy and the risk that the city and the country had to make to prevent the spread of the virus. And unfortunately, it has affected the smaller businesses. So even though shops are now open, museums and cinemas and sporting facilities, they still remain closed. As for schools, I know that some places in Vietnam have been allowed to go back to school, mainly places in the countryside that are not at risk. I think schools are going to go back in May, but there's still no official announcement of that yet. And the company that I work at, we're still teaching online. There's not really been any talks about when we will go back to teaching in person either. So one of the main differences of the lockdown now being lifted is that you can now go to a restaurant and eat there. But with more or less every single place where you go that is inside in Vietnam, you have your temperature checked and they give you some hand sanitizer. So I was actually refused to go into the supermarket because my temperature was too high. So yeah, they do take it seriously. Although restaurants are now open, the tables have been moved so there is a certain amount of distance. Usually when you go to restaurants in Vietnam, they are very crammed together. But yeah, tables have been removed to encourage the social distancing. Also, tape on the floor, queuing 2 meters apart. Okay, so I have some clips to show you from Friday evening, but I also want to add that me and Eric went out on Thursday evening. I should mention that the differences of crowds were completely different on both nights. So when we went out on Thursday, we just went for a walk around where we live and we noticed how every single seafood place and every single bubble tea, anywhere where you can just sit and talk and eat and drink, and yeah, it was so busy. Just yeah, everyone just gathering, having a good time. Obviously people haven't seen their families for such a long time, so yeah, everyone was getting together. But on Friday evening we went to the centre on the bike and we noticed how much quieter it was compared to the evening before. Although the streets were really quiet and more of the cheaper restaurants and cheaper eating places, the bubble tea places, they were a lot quieter. But if you try to go to a higher end restaurant, like a sushi restaurant or a barbecue restaurant, they were all fully booked. We tried to go to Sushi Haru in, I think, District 3, and there was like a 15-minute wait because it was fully booked, which is really weird because I swear nothing's ever fully booked here because they all try and cram you in. But I think that also is a result of restaurants having to have this gap between tables. Okay, so I want someone to verify this for me. Is this a bar or is it just like an eating place? Like, is it classed as a bar? Because people are drinking, people are gathering, and people are eating. And I know that one of the restrictions were that bars are still not allowed to be open. But yeah, I did think it was really weird how these big places that sell alcohol had a lot of people in them and they obviously were still open. But yeah, is that classed as a bar? Like, I have no idea because I do not drink. Okay, so I quickly want to show you the app that I mentioned earlier. So basically the country has asked everyone to download this app, and every time you go onto the app you have to declare your health status. So there is also the report button right here, and I think this is for when people think that they have been near somebody that has corona, or they have it themselves and they want to report where they have been. Also exposure declaration: in the past 14 days you or your relatives returned from overseas. This is the most important part. So this is the first I've seen of this. It went from 268 to now 270. So they've had 2 more today, I think. Vietnam did go 7 days without having any, which is why they announced the lift of the lockdown. So I don't know if this is going to affect the lockdown. But as you can see as well, the recovery is 220. So actually in the whole country, 50 people have the virus. Okay, so this is also where the map is. As you can see, here is the airport. There are many cases by the airport because obviously people come in from other countries or other parts of the country. And yeah, you can see exactly when it was. But yeah, I should also say as well, if you come into Vietnam, you have to be quarantined for 14 days. And in Vietnam, there are quarantines all over the country, mainly in cities. And yeah, they have a big quarantine facility and you have to stay there for 14 days. Yeah, so let's just click on one of these randomly in the city. So here you can see it's in District 1. It's in Saigon Square, which is Saigon Square the shopping mall? So you can see some more information, like here it says they were there from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock on the 8th of March. And also it says what number they are. So this says 54. Over here 150. 142. So this is the 142nd case of Vietnam. Let's zoom out. Okay, so this is all the cases in the whole of Vietnam that have been recorded. But yeah, you can click on any of these and it gives you the information, which I think is amazing. But yeah, I'm really proud of Vietnam that they have this app, because it keeps people in the loop. You know exactly where the infections are. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of this video now. I just want to say to the people that do live here in Vietnam to remain cautious when going out into the public. Specifically next week, we have a national holiday on the 30th and then the 1st, which is Thursday and Friday. I assume people will extend that holiday over to the weekend. But yeah, because it's a national holiday, everyone is off work, and now that the lockdown has been lifted, maybe people want to travel more. Yeah, I just want to say, just be really careful. Although Vietnam has done an absolute fantastic job, I know I am so incredibly proud of Vietnam and everyone in it. Everyone has done their bit to get to where we are now. But yeah, we still have to stay cautious about crowded places and traveling. So yeah, other than that, thank you for watching, and yeah, subscribe, like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.